Morning friends, today we discuss the congestion control. So what is congestion? Congestion occur in the network while we are sending the data more than the capacity of network. And the congestion control means we have to discuss the different techniques for the prevention as well as the removal of the congestions. So the content we will study the traffic descriptors, traffic profiles, congestion control categories, open loop techniques as well as the closed loop techniques. So first term we will discuss the maximum burst size. The maximum burst size is normally referred to the maximum length of time the traffic is generated at the peak rate. So this is shown here. So here we are showing that amount of time that traffic is maximum, that is known as the maximum burst size. Peak data rate. The peak data rate defines the maximum data rate of the traffic. So when the traffic is maximum, that then we say the our data is the peak data rates. Average data rate is the number of bits sent during a period of time, dividing by the number of seconds in the period. So average data rate is the ratio of amount of data by the time. The average data rate is very useful for traffic because it indicates the average bandwidth needed by the traffic. So there are three types of traffic. So what we have, first is the constant bit rate, second is the variable bit rate, third is the bursty traffic. Constant bit rate, that is also known as the CBR or a fixed rate traffic model, has a data rate that does not change. So we have a constant bit data rate, that is also known as the, while we have the constant speed of the data, which is practical is not feasible. Second is the variable bit rates, that is known as the VBR. The rate of the data flow change in the time, with the change smooth instead of the sudden and the sharp. So we have the change is smooth and it's not a sharp. Then we say that we have the VBR data rates. Third is the bursty data rate. The data rate change suddenly in a very short time. So in the internet, we say in the computer network, we have the bursty data traffic. That is the major reason for the congestion in the network. Congestion, as I already said, congestion in the network may occur if the load on the network, the number of packets sent in the network is the greater than the capacity of the network. The number of packets a network can handle. Congestion control refers to the mechanism and technique control the congestion and keep the load below the capacity. So here we are showing a one device, intermediate device, that is the routers. Router having a number of interfaces, each interface having the two queues, input queue as well as the output queues. The input queue is hold the data from the input device and it will store the data until it is processed by the routers. Similar, the data that is processed by the router is sent to the output queue. So here we are showing the impact of the delay as well as the load. While the load on the network is within the capacity, so we have no congestions. While the load occur that is beyond the capacity of the network, then we have the congestion area, and then the delay is exponentially rise. Second is with refer to the throughput as well as the load. While the load is within the capacity, then we have the higher throughputs. While the load increase beyond the capacity, then we are reaching in the congestion area, then the throughput start decaying. That is shown in the graph number 2. Congestion control. Congestion control refers to the technique and mechanism that can either prevent the congestion before it happen or remove the congestion if it has happened. In general, we can divide the congestion control mechanism into two broader categories: open loop congestion control that we use for the prevention of the congestions, and the closed loop congestion control that we use for the removal of the congestions. So here we discuss the open loop congestion controls that we use for the prevention of the congestions, as well as the closed loop congestion control that we use for the removal of the congestions. Congestion control categories are divided, as we say, open loop as well as the closed loop. In the open loop, we discuss the different transmission policies that are used for the prevention of the congestions, window policies, acknowledgement policies, discarding policies, as well as the admission policies. So these are 5 techniques that we use for the prevention of the congestion that fall under the category of the open loop. In the closed loop, we have a back pressures, we have a choke packets, we have the implement signals, we have the explicit signals. So first we discuss the open loop congestion control techniques. In the open loop congestion controls, policies are applied to prevent the congestion before it happens. In these mechanisms, congestion control is handled by either the source or the destinations. The first policy is we have the retransmission policies. Retransmission is sometimes unavoidable. If the sender feels that sent data packet is lost or corrupted, the packet need to be transmitted. Retransmission in general may increase the congestion in the network. So here we want to say that we have the efficient retransmission policy, because if we do not having the efficient retransmission policy, it will further increase the congestion. However, a good retransmission policy can prevent the congestion. As I earlier says, the retransmission policy and the retransmission timer are very optimized handle so that we can properly reduce the congestion or we can prevent the congestions. Second, in the window policy, the type of window at the center may also affect the congestion. So we are, as we say that for the flow control or congestion control, we are using the different type of windows. In the selective repeat windows, better than go back n. In the selective repeat windows, that is better than the go back n window for the congestion control. In the go back n, if I say if one frame is discarded, our policy will discard all. If our one frame is lost, our policy will discard all the frame that we receive either successfully or the lost. It means there is a retransmission of all the frame if there is a failure in the any frames. In the go back n, we have to receiver is receive the frames that are out of orders. Then it requests for the frame which is corrupted. When it receives the corrupted frames, it will send the cumulative acknowledgement. For example, if I say the frame number 2 is corrupted and receiver will receive the frame number 3 and the 4. In the go back n policy, receiver will discard the frame number 3 and the 4. But in the selective repeat policy, the receiver will receive the frame number 3 and the 4, but it is sending the negative acknowledgement with refer to the frame number 2. While it receives the frame number 2, it will send the acknowledgement number 5. It means it does not ask the resend the packet which are successfully received by the receivers. So here we say that selective repeat window policy, on the other hand, try to send the traffic packet that can be lost or corrupted. So this policy having the minimum retransmissions. So that I want to say that selective repeat window policy is the better than the go back n policies. Next is the acknowledgement policies. The acknowledgement policy imposed by the receiver may also affect the congestion. If the receiver does not acknowledge every packet it receives, it may slow down the sender and help prevent the congestions. So here we have what we want to say, that we are not sending the acknowledgement for the each received packet, that somehow slow down the sender to send the speed of the data and somehow to handle the prevention of the congestions. Discarding policies. A good discarding policy by the router may prevent the congestions and at the same time may not harm the integrity of the transmission. For example, in the audio transmission, if the policy is to discard the less sensitive packet when the congestion is likely to happen, the quality of sound is still preserved and congestion is prevented. So here we want to say that we have a proper discarding policies, and if the congestion will be occurs or likely to be occurs, we have to discard the less prioritized packet instead of the higher priority packets. Admission policies. And admission policy, which is a quality of service mechanism, can also prevent the congestion in the virtual circuit networks. Switches in a flow first check the resource requirement of a flow before admitting it to the networks. A router can deny establishing a virtual circuit connection if there is a congestion in the network or if there is a possibility of future congestions. So here we are discuss the congestion control category, that are the closed loop that we use for the removal of the congestions. So here we have a source, and we are assuming that we have the 4 intermediate devices in between the source to the destination. If any intermediate devices will find that there is a congestion and it receive a more data as it can't process, then here the congestion will be occurs. So here we are showing that the congestion will be occur at the device number 3. So it can send the back pressure signal to the, it will inform to their neighbors that there is a congestion in the device number 3. This information is again passed to the intermediate 1, and then this information is passed to the source. Then when the source will receive this information, source will reduce the rate of the data transmission. That is known as the back pressure method for elevating the congestions. Next is the choke packet. In the choke packet, again we are assuming we have a source and we have destination, and we have a 4 intermediate devices. And here we are also assuming that there is a congestion occur in the device number 3. Congestion will occur in the device number 3 because it receive a more data rate and it can process. That's why there is a congestion occur in the device number 3. So then the congestion occur in the device number 3, it can generate a one packet. That packet is known as the choke packets. This packet will give the information to the source that the congestion will be occur at the device number 3. So slow down the data sending rate. Slow down the data sending rate. That is known as the choke packets. Third is the implement signals. Implement means internal signals. In the implement signal, there is no communication between the congestion node or node and the source. The source get that there is a congestion somewhere in the network from the other symptom. For example, when a source sends a several packet and there is a no acknowledgement for a while we don't receiving any acknowledgement by the sender, one assumption is that network is a congestion. Network have the congestion will be occurs. The delay in receiving an acknowledgement is interpreted as a congestion in the network. The source should slow down the rate of data sending. So here we are saying that if a source does not get the acknowledgement, it assumes that congestion will be occurs and it slow down the rate of sending the data. Second is the explicit signals. Explicit signal means external signals. The node that experience congestion can explicitly send a signal to the source or the destinations. The explicit signal method, however, is different from the choke packet method. In the choke packet method, a separate packet is used for this purpose. In the explicit signal method, the signal is included in the packet that carry the data. So here we want to say that while we are sending the while the any receiver is sending the acknowledgement to the sender that we receive the packet, then we are sending some bits to the sender that if there is possibility of congestions, then slow down the data rates by sending a signal in the form of the signal in the form of we say flip flop, yeah, we say the any flag signals. So here we are discuss the congestion control in the TCP. So here we have one sender and we have one receiver. Initially the size of congestion window is 1. So sender will send the segment 1 and it receives the acknowledgement before the timer expire. Now the sender will send the data by the double congestion window size, that is to the power 1. Now we send the 2 segments, and if we get the acknowledgement before the timer expires, it means we do not having any congestion in the networks. Then then the congestion window size we increase the to the power 2, that is the 4. So here we are exponential slow start exponential increase means while we are getting the acknowledgement from the receiver, we will exponentially increase the size of the congestion windows. So that's the mean for the exponential increase and the slow start. In the exponential increase, if we send the number of 8 segments and we do not get the acknowledgement, then we will again go for the size of the congestion window equal to the 1, that is to the power 0. So that's why we say the word slow start algorithm. The size of the congestion window increase exponentially until it reaches the threshold. Congestion control in the TCP, congestion avoidance by the additive increase. So here we will additive increase the size of the congestion window while we receive the acknowledgement. Instead of first we have the congestion window size is 1. If we receive the successful acknowledgement, now the congestion window size is 2. If we receive the successful acknowledgement, then the congestion window size is 3 instead of the to the power n. Means we do not here exponentially increase the size of the congestion window. We will additive increase the size of the congestion windows. In the congestion avoidance algorithm, the size of congestion window increase additively until the congestion is detected. So this is the diagram where we show the TCP protocol as the finite state machines. Here we are showing that if we send the data and conjugately we do not receive the 3 acknowledgement, means we will send the 3 datas and we do not receive any acknowledgement, then we assume that congestion will be occurs. Then we will use the slow start algorithm and the size of window is reduced to the half, or with the size of window is reduced to the 1. If we send the data and we do not get the acknowledgement and the timer will expire, then we again assume the congestion will be occurs and the size of the congestion window should be equal to the 1 segments, that the 1 MSS. Thank you for this lecture. We are follow the book Data Communication and Network by the Frozen.